Butler University banking on a new boutique hotel for Ross Hall, and Taylor University paving a new path to downtown Upland. Two small Indiana colleges with big plans to connect to their communities. We break down what it all means and their potential payoff in Indy and Upland. Plus, a major power shift for a big Indiana utility. What's behind AES Indiana's billion-dollar investment to move from coal to clean energy? And
a new infant wing in Indianapolis helping 16 families with their desperate need for childcare.
It's all next on Inside Indiana Business.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gerry Dick, presented by Elevate Ventures, Indiana University, and Liuna.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gerry Dick. Well, this week, two transformational initiatives were announced in two different parts of the state. One in the state's largest city, the other one of its smallest towns. Both driven by an unlikely source, higher education. In the tiny Grant County community of Upland, Governor Eric Holcomb helped to break ground on a 1-mile path connecting Upland's struggling downtown with the campus of Taylor University. A key piece of what could be more than $200 million in investment in a variety of projects over the next 5 years. Meantime, in Indianapolis, the iconic Ross Hall, destined for the wrecking ball just over a year ago, will become a Hilton Curio Collection boutique hotel. It's part of Butler's Gateway project, which is transforming the campus into a destination for education, arts, and sporting events, and part of an even larger vision to enhance quality of life in Midtown Indianapolis. Ross Hall. For nearly 70 years, this longtime residence hall served as a campus icon and an emotional bond for generations of Butler students. And just 1 year after this campus landmark faced likely demolition, it now has new life as a curio collection by Hilton upscale boutique hotel.
Well, I think it's going to bring a lot of people to campus that might never have been here before. The unique nature of this, the way I've been capturing it, it isn't a Butler hotel. It happens to be a really nice hotel that's on Butler's campus. So it's going to be, there is no hotel. This is like a hotel desert in the Midtown region of the city of Indianapolis. And this is going to put a really nice product there and really enhance this area and enhance our campus and provide an amenity that we have not had on our campus or even nearby.
The hotel is a key piece of Butler's ambitious Gateway project and will anchor a makeover of the southern entrance to campus that will include a new parking, safety, and transportation hub. Leveraging a $22.5 million Lilly Endowment grant, the plan extends beyond the confines of campus, better connecting the university to the adjacent Midtown district.
The essence of it is to elevate the community. So there's some support going to the Butler Tarkington area, Tarkington Park, the MLK Center, Holcomb Gardens, which is a really major community asset that a lot of people in this region and neighborhood enjoy visiting. So all of this is pointed toward elevating Midtown, and obviously Butler being the major cornerstone of this area to elevate us as well.
And Danko tells me the new hotel and transportation and safety hub are very much the beginning of an effort that will make the university and surrounding neighborhood more of a destination.
It is transformational. We're looking at adding healthcare and healthcare services on the CTS property. There's a lot of opportunity for us. We're looking at an apartment village. So this work is just beginning. The hotel is one anchor point. Other work that we did during Butler 2020 with the new Lacey School of Business and other things. There are elevated arts programs here on campus with what's happening at Clues and Schrott are really amazing in terms of this area really being a center of certainly academics, but also arts and athletics. But this is also access. How do we access this part of the city? How do we provide access to opportunities beyond our campus boundaries?
Big plans at Butler, but Butler not the only Indiana college with big plans to connect to the local community. Taylor University in Grant County launching a series of multi-million-dollar revitalization projects that could be game changers for the region. Mary Rachel Redmond joins us now with that story.
Well, Gerry, Taylor University has been a central part of the fabric in Upland since 1893. Now, Taylor, like Butler, is investing big time to build enrollment and a new relationship with the tiny town of less than 4,000. Silent Night, Taylor University's treasured tradition.
Break the silence.
Students not making a peep until their team scores its 10th point. Now this small private college is making big noise in the town it calls home. Governor Eric Holcomb on hand to help Taylor break ground on the Main Street Mile project, a path connecting campus to downtown Upland.
Well, there's just a mile of Main Street that separates the university from downtown. But as is true in lots of communities, that mile can be a long one to bridge.
Nonprofit 1846 Enterprises spearheading the Pathway project, $30 million in funding coming from the Lilly Endowment.
Those pedestrian corridors become a multi-purpose space for both residents and students. Mostly from an economic development perspective, we're looking at connecting them to the businesses. How do we get more people better able to utilize the businesses that are in town and frequent them on a regular basis? We also look at it from a health and wellness perspective. How do you create quality of life, giving people an opportunity to socialize, connect with their neighbors, and use the pathway to do those things.
Another $70 million in private investment in grants going toward other developments, including new housing, renovations to Taylor's nursing facility, and field house upgrades.
We've also been able to renovate our field house, which houses our football and lacrosse locker rooms, and also has indoor practice facility for softball and for baseball. We're building new tennis and pickleball courts, which of course is very popular in our community. Lots of different developments we see on campus. It's part of a larger, as you say, $200 million investment we've got between our campus and our community, which is going to be transformational for Upland and for this part of Indiana. There are not a lot of great examples across the U.S. where that's occurring. And so we think there's an opportunity here to really become a national role model of how does a university work with its friends and neighbors in the community and help build the most charming small town in America. So that's our vision, and we believe we're well on the way.
And Gerry, the university is calling this the largest series of revitalization projects in the small town of Upton's history. So a lot to be excited about if you're a Taylor Trojan.
Lots to be excited about indeed. Thanks, Mary Rachel. Two small Hoosier universities doing big things in their respective communities. Still ahead, a power shift underway in Pike County from coal to cleaner energy. The story behind big changes at AES Indiana's massive generating station in Petersburg when we come back. Some throwback video here to some of the golden years of coal mining in Indiana. For nearly 200 years, Hoosier miners in southwest Indiana have really played a major role in producing coal as a huge source of energy. But there's a massive transition underway on how we get our power. Case in point, AES Indiana's move away from coal to cleaner energy, the company making a more than $1 billion investment at its massive Petersburg operations.
Pike County, the people of Petersburg, Indiana, are a huge part of our overall AES Indiana story. And so a lot of people don't realize our Petersburg generating station, which those units went online back in the 1950s. There at one point were a total of 4 coal units. And so we have retired units 1 and 2. And earlier this year, we filed a request with the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission to repower the remaining units 3 and 4 from coal to natural gas. The other piece to the plans that we're announcing is the investment in the Pike County Energy Storage Facility, as well as the Petersburg Energy Center. So in total, $1.1 billion in investments that would add additional natural gas to our portfolio, add additional energy storage and solar.
AES President Brandy Davis-Handy explains why it's important for utilities to focus on more than one energy source and all of the above approach.
I mean, if you go back 2 years ago and remember, how natural gas prices increased, that's an example of having the diversity in our portfolio of fuels. And the reality is sometimes, the sun doesn't shine and the wind doesn't blow. And so having additional fuel choices to rely on is important for us to maintain our commitment of reliability.
Indiana quickly becoming a magnet in the new high-tech revolution. All corners of the state landing mega deals for data centers, semiconductor, and EV plants, companies that are huge energy users, a challenge for power companies like AES to meet demand.
Many of these data centers aren't going to go online overnight. And so the key for the utilities to be prepared for this sort of growth is planning.
A big key to making this new era of energy transition successful, collaborating with other utilities.
I think right now we're sharing best practices and learning from each other. This is new for all of us. The reality is the electric grid is the backbone of our state and our nation's economy. I think that there's an opportunity for historic growth for our company, historic growth for the state of Indiana.
Well, certainly water is also an essential energy source for economic development projects in Indiana, and Indiana appears to have plenty of it. But an Indiana Chamber of Commerce study calls for a more coordinated effort to evenly distribute and manage water, especially when it comes to new mega developments like the LEAP Innovation District in Lebanon, a project the Indiana Economic Development Corporation is asking the state to finance $50 million to build a new water pipeline to Boone County. Coming up next, on the verge of extinction, why this 12-sided barn in rural Shelby County is one of 10 Hoosier gems on Indiana Landmark's most endangered list. And we take time to remember a visionary in moving Indianapolis arts and culture forward. John Van Osdol, the longtime leader of the Eiteljorg Museum of American Indians and Western Art, has passed away. Van Osdol served as CEO and president of the museum from 1996 until he retired last year. He appeared often on Inside Indiana Business over the years. John Van Osdol was 68.
Here's what's making news around Indiana. Brought to you by the Indiana Association of Realtors. Indiana's 21,000 realtors. The neighbors you know, the experts you can count on.
A 5-story Civil War-era building towering over the Wabash River in the tiny town of Merom. Once home to an Indiana college and part of Indiana's ag heritage. A 12-sided historic barn in Shelby County. Just two of a handful of Hoosier historical buildings in danger of disappearing. Mary Rachel Redmond here now with more.
Well, Gerry, Indiana Landmarks has released its annual list of the state's most endangered places, on the verge of vanishing if they aren't revitalized.
Come on, Cottonwoods, come on!
Gary's iconic Bethlehem Healing Temple, one of those properties on the list. Water damage has forced members of the 100-year-old church to hold services in the basement. Also among the most endangered buildings in Indiana, a post-Civil War school built in the Gibson County farming community, and the Star Historic District in Richmond, a repeat from last year's most endangered list.
I think there's a perception among a lot of people that we just go out and buy properties and turn them into museums. That's not what we do. We want to get them back into, it's an old house. We want it to become a house again, if possible. If that doesn't work, we'll find other purposes for it. But we want these properties that we say to be meaningful, contributing parts of the communities in which they stand.
Retiring Indiana Landmarks President Marsh Davis, our most recent guest on the Business and Beyond podcast. You can check it out on InsideIndianaBusiness.com. An update to a story we brought you earlier this month. Voestalpine has chosen Jeffersonville for its $78 million plant expansion. The company supplies roll-formed metal for use in industries such as aerospace and construction. The expansion is expected to bring about 100 new jobs. Poseyville-based Nix Industrial has acquired majority ownership of New Albany-based Hunselman Sheet Metal Fabrication. The outgoing owners of Hunselman plan to transition away from the business over the next few months. Nixon Industrial is now one of the biggest metal fabricators in Indiana. Warsaw-based Wildman Business Solutions is growing. The company, which makes uniforms and provides other services to businesses, has acquired Advantage Linen Supply in Ionia, Michigan. The company will be rolled into the Wildman brand. Wildman has a number of locations throughout Indiana and began its operations in 1952. Travel center business Wally's is expanding to Indiana. The company recently broke ground on its Whitestown location near I-65. The $30 million project will bring 84 fueling locations and 175 jobs to the area. Wally's is open 24/7 and features a food court, convenience store, and gift shop inside. That's a look at what's making business news around the state. Gary, back over to you.
All right, Mary Rachel, thank you. The driving force behind the $5 billion tourism industry in Indianapolis getting some national recognition. Visit Indy President and CEO Leonard Hoops, honored with the Destination Organization Leadership Award. And many of those out-of-town visitors flying into Indianapolis International Airport, which set a record for passenger traffic for the first half of this year. And momentum growing in the Circle City as Indy continues to host major conventions and big-time sporting events like the Olympic swim trials in June, the NBA All-Star Game in February as well, and Indy hosting the WNBA All-Star Game next year and the NCAA Men's Final Four in 2026.
Indiana is living up to its legacy as a basketball city and state, and the proof is in the events that are happening. I mean, there is no city or state that is going to have more high quality amateur and professional basketball events in the world between now and 2029 than Indianapolis, period.
Leonard Hoops speaking with IBJ Media's Mickey Shuey on the state of tourism in central Indiana and that national honor he received as well. Coming up next, showcasing why affordable childcare plays a key role in driving the Hoosier economy. More on a major workforce issue and how one Indiana organization is tackling it. Well, the southwest side of Indianapolis is a childcare desert, meaning there are 3 times as many children than licensed caretakers in that area. The Villages of Indiana on the southwest side of Indianapolis is opening a new infant wing to help bridge that gap. Business of Health reporter Kylie Valletta now with that story.
Thanks, Gary. It may be peaceful and quiet in here now, but it won't be in a matter of days when 16 new babies will be in this wing, giving 16 more parents peace of mind about childcare.
Where's your belly button? If you find affordable, accessible childcare for an infant, it's like you just won the lottery in the state of Indiana. 2, 3.
The nonprofit built from the ground up a new infant wing to double the number of babies the center can take care of. The Indiana Chamber says childcare is an increasing concern and a business issue.
Childcare, affordable childcare, is a workforce issue. I mean, to attract and to retain employees, particularly women employees, you must have some kind of a daycare and a high-quality daycare. You say hi!
The Villages serves many low-income families who have state vouchers that help pay for childcare.
We have over 207 families on our wait list, 207 who can't find and desperately trying to find daycare in this area.
Which means the 16 new openings for babies are already filled. The center says it gets at least a dozen calls a day from mothers desperate for childcare.
How is our economy in the state of Indiana going to grow if we have people who want to work but cannot work because they can't find high-quality, affordable childcare?
For parents paying out of pocket, childcare at the Villages is about $360 per week. Many families don't qualify for the vouchers, so the nonprofit wants the state to expand assistance to help more parents.
It's life-changing. It's going to allow families to be able to continue to work. It's going to allow families to be able to continue to pay their rent and their car expenses just by having access to this facility that will take vouchers.
The Villages says this wing will be a long-term blessing for families. Even once their baby ages out of the infant wing, the child can stay here until they're 12 years old. Gerry, back to you.
All right, Kylie, thank you. It is a big issue indeed in Indiana and across the country. In fact, the state says childcare in Indiana has a big economic impact and an impact on economic development as well. Affordability, the key for businesses and workers.
Time now for our Eye on Education, brought to you by PNC Bank.
Access to the free application for federal student aid for the 2025-26 academic year is being delayed by at least 2 months. It's expected to be available in December. Carmel-based nonprofit Invest Ed planning to host events all over the state of Indiana to get families prepared and also to answer questions. They say because of last year's difficulties, schools are more prepared for what could come this year. Purdue University's brand new esports facility is now open on its West Lafayette campus. The Alienware Purdue Gaming Lounge will allow students to train and compete in esports, as well as enjoy casual gaming. The space is part of a partnership with Dell Technologies. Well, thanks for joining us this week. I'm Gerry Dick. Indiana High School fall sports starting to get in motion this time of year, including the second season of girls flag football. And we leave you with some of the highlights from last year.